Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we're going to be talking about something really important. Pokemon Unite is going to be coming up in 2 days. The full release is finally going to be happening, and a focus that I've kind of taken on is to be aware of the fact that there's going to be a lot of new MOBA players, and that's important. That's important to know. It's important to be that person and kind of start to figure out the game a little bit, and a lot of the nuance. And I say this, I think I've said this in the past. At least I said it when I was streaming last night. A lot of the nuance of MOBAs comes with time. You'll learn how the timing of things goes. That said, I do want to talk about the number one thing that I think that you need to know going into a MOBA. And the biggest thing about Pokemon Unite compared to other MOBAs is that it's only 10 minutes long. The games are entirely way shorter. They're much shorter than other MOBAs, which means that the different kind of phases of the game happen. So we were kind of jokingly talking about different team comps and things in a Discord the other day, and someone said oh, that sounds more like a late game team comp, meaning the characters will do better as a team later in the game. But the irony about that is that late game isn't very deep into the game because the game is only 10 minutes long. So let's talk about this number one tip, this number one thing that I think you absolutely need to know, and that is that this is a team game. You need to group with your team. One thing that I'm worried about with some of the new players is that I don't want y'all to fall in this trap of being permanent laners. Yes, you may start in a lane. Yes, you may be a jungler, but it is not appropriate. It's not the most effective thing to do to stay in that position always. Be comfortable once you're starting to control the map, or once you're starting to be a little bit deeper into the game, leaving your lane or leaving the jungle to go gank, to join the laning phase, to group up as a 5-man team. This is a 10-minute game. It goes pretty fast, and so my hypothesis, because I really don't want to put names on the different, I don't want to name the different phases of the game based on time just yet, because I need more time with the game myself. Be ready for around the halfway mark, around the 5-minute mark in the game, to be more often than not consistently grouping with your team. I think this is going to be a really important thing to think about. Now, the one thing about that is that you do leave the goals open. If you still have a goal open in top lane and y'all are all kind of grouping more towards bot or roaming around the jungle together in mid, but even if you are allowing 1 or 2 people on the other the other players on the enemy team to score an occasional amount of points, the more you're grouped up as a team, the more fights you're probably winning, the more of the neutral jungle you're probably taking. You're probably getting Dreadnought more often. You're probably really pushing down one lane and controlling the game a lot more, as opposed to just having scattered teammates a little bit all over the map who are occasionally getting picked off on their own. Maybe they're just kind of still stuck in this laning phase where they're not really achieving much. All in all, you're going to be able to do a lot more when you start grouping. So the laning phase, the whole idea of what your role is, it shines most in the early game. Now, when you come to team fights, you got to know how to team fight. You got to know where your positioning is best, and your role is still going to matter in that sense. But knowing that you go top lane, it only matters for so long, and I really want to kind of emphasize how important it is going to be. Now, I've played lots of MOBAs, but my most recent one that I was really kind of into was Heroes of the Storm, and Heroes of the Storm has a unique leveling system to it that Pokemon Unite does not have. In Here's the Storm, you level as a team. Everything you do is experience for the full team. In Pokemon Unite, you do have your own individual level, but the importance of grouping in Heroes of the Storm was so important, because at a certain point in the game, being by yourself really was just super ineffective, and we're going to see a very similar trend in Pokemon Unite. It's just going to happen much faster. So I really want, like I said, my biggest hypothesis is that I think it's going to be near that 5, 6, maybe 7-minute mark, where really it's going to start to become more and more viable, and not even just viable, it'll become the meta to be grouped up with your team, so that way y'all are taking less risks on a lot of your fights. So let me know what you think about this tip, this thing that I think that you absolutely have to know. Again, I'm still putting a little bit of a point on here to say that this is a bit hypothetical, because we have to kind of see how the phasings of the game feels, but it's locked in. This is a 10-minute MOBA. It's going to be important to know how to get the most effect and the most use out of your time in the game. And I think I'm going to tell you now that that's going to be grouping up with your team. So as always, thank you so much for checking out this video, spending your time with me here on the channel. I definitely do appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like some more Pokemon Unite content. You want to see some guides, hear my thoughts, some theory crafting, etc., etc. So I do appreciate you spending your time here, though. Be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone that you love them. And I'll see you on the next video.